Some of the environments, you saw some jungle, you saw some savanna, on the edge you saw some desert out there, you saw some gas stations, stuff like that. I'm going to show you, the map editor was designed so that we would be able to give players the opportunity to build maps very, very quickly using all the same assets from the game and be able to make stuff that looks as good and plays as good as what we have in the single player game. So very quickly I start with a blank field and I'm just going to grab myself this tool here. I'm not going to load a map and show you anything, I'm just going to build one right in front of your eyes here. So start by taking just a simple terrain deformation tool. This is the bump tool. You can see me building a nice mountain here. Now, I mean, it's wonderful to be able to build a big sort of fleshy kind of blob, but I mean, making it look good involves using some more tools. This is the erosion tool. This allows me to kind of cause this to start to look really, really natural. So you can see, literally within 5 seconds, I'm already starting to make a really organic looking sort of mountain structure. Now that's all like a big hill of sand, so let's use our texturing tools, and we'll put some rock on that. Mountain rock. And then we can edit the brush constraints. So what I'm going to do is edit the constraints so it won't paint on anything that's less than 20 degrees in slope, and it won't paint on anything that's under 5 meters. That means I can just make the brush really, really big, and then I won't need to worry about accidentally painting anything I don't want to. So I'll make the brush bigger than the mountain, and then I'll just go point. Oops. Select mountain rock. There we go. Point. There you go. So now I don't need to worry about sort of painting on the ground where I didn't want to paint. It's like everything over 20 degrees is painted and everything over 5 meters. Now let's actually take an even cooler tool. This is being able to build one mountain is interesting, but being able to build an entire world of rolling natural organic terrain is a completely different problem. So let's crank this thing up and just start using the noise tool to build a really noisy terrain field here. Get a really natural, organic-looking level out of nothing. You can see just in seconds, even. Oops. Come on. There we go. It reminds me of that scene in Star Trek where they fire the Genesis devices. Okay, now I'm going to just grab the section tool again. Because the parameters are set to only paint what is steeper than 20 degrees and what's higher than 5 meters, you can see it's creating these really natural rock formations where it's like sort of steep parts of rock look like rock, and then the other parts look like little gullies where the dust is kind of fallen in and collected in the sand and stuff. So it makes it really... I'm just painting, this is just a huge blanket paint, but it's not touching the stuff that I don't want to paint. So now I've created this kind of canyon here. Okay, so big empty field, right? Kind of lame. Let's make it cool. Now I'm going to take what we call the collection system tool here. This is the tool that we use to put vegetation in the game. And obviously it's a slightly modified version of what we use in the single player game, but basically the idea is that we just use sort of procedural rules to define how a savanna or a jungle or whatever actually lives in the world. So I take this brush and I'm just going to sort of paint in, instead of painting like placing individual trees, see how I can just put this and it'll place like a big tree, and then underneath that tree you'll have like the little bushes that grow and like the animal droppings from the birds and stuff. And then that part's boring just a second. Give me a minute here. I'm probably not going to die in this part, so. You never know. My life's going to be nobody rescues in the level editor, I'll tell you that for sure. So here I am, just, again, painting a huge savanna. I'm just covering this entire thing very, very rapidly with trees, leaving the sort of higher peaks uncovered, and then boom. And then if I just like, I'll zip over here somewhere, and then something that's super important for us as game creators is we know that you need to be able to iterate really, really fast. And if you can't just jump in and look at what you've done, it's kind of like a total waste of time. So you can see like, this is a map that I've literally created in the last like 6 minutes, and it's like looks as good as what you saw in the single player game when I was driving through the savanna there. And if you want to like, you just want to be a dark. So that'll get a big fire. mean, all of the game is running in the background, so you can just pop in at any time, take a look at, make sure things are working the way you want them to work. All the destructibility on all the vegetation is there. Everything operates exactly like it does in a single-player game, and then if you want to change something, you can just pop like right back out, and boom, you're out in the editor again. Now let's say I decided once I took a look at it that I didn't actually like that it was a savanna and I wish it was a jungle. So I'm actually just going to swap out the rule set that was used to make a savanna, and I'm just going to change it for a rule set that defines it as a jungle. How about a dense jungle? And then boom, it's just going to replace the rules. It's like select all red, replace with blue, right? And then I'm going to pop over here into the texture thing. I'm going to swap out savanna undergrass. I'm going to put in some jungle dense underbrush. And then I'll take out the savanna mountain rock. I'll put in some jungle. I think there's jungle mountain rock. There we go. And then boom, instantly, literally within 90 seconds, oops, I went from being in an open rolling savanna to being in like a dense tropical jungle. Now, what's even cooler, quiet in the house, you can actually hear, because I've used jungle collection systems, jungle vegetation, you can hear that there are parrots, there are monkeys in the trees. It updated all of the sound that supports this environment by swapping the sound because it detected that it was a jungle instead of a savanna. Now let's show some of the other cool tools. It's really cool to be able to build like a wilderness very quickly. Let's actually sort of put in some cool stuff for like gameplay and stuff. Let's start by putting in a road. So again, I'll select this time a jungle road. I'll swap that for like jungle off-road. And then I'll just doink, 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 doink. Sorry, I like to make my own sound effects. I know it's really annoying. I get in shit all the time. But there, you see how the road, it's just a spline, just like in like any, piece of software that generates splines. And the road actually, shouldn't be doing that. See how the road cuts away the vegetation wherever the road is? And I can also just like change the width of the road. Whoops. And that will like update all the vegetation and clear it out around the road if I want the road to be, if I want to grab that spline and like move it over here. It'll like update all of the vegetation again, because the vegetation is just placed in the world based on rules, and once you like move the layer of the road, like the vegetation knows the rules for where it's supposed to be, and it just repopulates itself dynamically in real time. So let's actually make a little clearing here, put a little town or something. So I'll go back here, I'll take that, I'll delete that, and then I'll go point. And I'll take some jungle. The maps are up to 512 meters by 512 meters. That's the maximum size, and they're all the same size actually. You can make them smaller by using a tool that sort of constrains the playable area, kind of like in. Oh, I know why. I have the constraints turned on. You can set the playable area by sort of drawing a walled area around that will sort of make a no exit zone. Sort of like in Battlefield, if you leave the combat area, you get radioed and you get told like, you don't get back into the fight, you'll be executed. So you can't leave the playable area. Now, I'm going to take, another cool thing is we have all the objects that we have available in the single player game, and they're all available in multiplayer. So I can take these vehicles, I'll take this assault truck, I'll put that here, let's point it that way, let's put it about a few minutes here. And then I'll take maybe, actually, like that. I'll stick that over there. And again, I can just jump in the game anytime I want and like test this stuff out and make sure it's working the way I want it to work. If I want to walk over here, hop in this vehicle, I can totally do it just like in single player. I can't take down a tree like that. I mean, even a grenade won't take that thing out, but I mean, the grenade launcher will strip the branches off just about anything that it hits. It's pretty powerful. You can see the branches being blasted off in all different directions. I mean, if you just want to blow stuff up, you can totally do it. And then you exit, and everything's back where you placed it. So you decide, oh, I didn't like the placement of that